Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another unboxing review. This is Fast Eddie, Make My Day, the rock and roll story of Fast Eddie Clarke. So let's have a quick look inside the package. This is Make My Day, a rock and roll story of Fast Eddie Clarke. It's a 4-CD deluxe set, career-spanning collection from Fast Eddie Clarke, including previous unreleased tracks by Motorhead, Fastway, and his solo work, and includes Make My Day, a comprehensive 300-page official biography of Eddie's life and career by Chris Needs and Mariko Fujiwara, which is his wife. It's an enormous box, and it weighs a ton because of the book. So I just need to show you that first. I'm not going to go through every page of this, but obviously this is a autobiography that you would see in Waterstones in the UK. It's huge. It's a proper book. The last time I saw this, something like this, was with the Carl Palmer set, which also included his autobiography, which is only available and exclusive to this set, or that box set as well. So there are lots of pictures in here. So you have to presume that at some point this book will be released separately to the box set. Whether it will ever be a hardback book, I don't know. But I've dipped in and out of it, and it's really well written. And I think if you're a Motorhead fan or Fast Eddie Clarke fan, then for many of you, this will be a key part of why you want this. Then we have what's more traditional kind of fold-out pack with the discs in. So there's 4 discs all together, as you can see here. So they're positioned like a lot of these sets are. And then there's a very small booklet. It's not a booklet really, it's a fold-out leaflet, which gives you more information about the actual tracks themselves, which are included on the CDs. And again, on the back of the box, you also have a list of the tracks as well, and it says whether from the Muggers, there's some demos, etc., and obviously some Motorhead stuff. So that's a look at the box, and now I'll tell you what my thoughts are. So that is Make My Day, the rock and roll story of Fast Eddie Clarke. 4 CDs and his entire brand new autobiography in a box. What are my thoughts on this? Now, this is the same kind of format as the Carl Palmer box set, which again included an autobiography. And I think, on the one hand, this style of box set with a full book in the set is a major step forward in many ways for fans of specific artists to have everything. Obviously, it fits on your bookcase. You've got everything you need, all in one set. I'm going to mention some negatives because I think it's fair. As an independent reviewer, I should do that. So what are my negatives? There aren't many, but it all comes down to one thing. The price point on this. And by the time you watch this video, maybe things have changed. But this set, at the point of me doing this review, is about £75, £76 on Amazon. And I feel that that's a little bit too high. Why? You get a big book, nearly 300-page autobiography. Yes, but let's presume this was a hardback book. Let's say it's 20 quid, and it's unique to this book. Let's say that's a hardback book and it's £20. There are 4 CDs. Each CD is around 45, 48 minutes. So you might have been able to squeeze them into 3 discs. The fact they've done to 4 makes it neater. I know a few years ago, record labels would have put like as many albums on one disc as possible. I personally didn't like that, so you had to kind of get half an album on the next CD you put in the CD tray. Here you've got 4 discs. But the key point is that a lot of the material is not new. So many hardcore fans, and this is kind of aimed at hardcore fans, will have this. It's career spanning, as it says, collection of legendary Fast Eddie Clarke, including previously unreleased tracks from Motorhead, Fastway, and his solo work. There aren't that many of them, and they're great, specifically Laugh at the Devil, which features Lemmy from his solo album. It's a new version, it's brilliant. But compare with what you get. So, and the 4 CDs themselves, nothing wrong with this packaging, but what is a letdown for me is that the leaflet because I know you've got a big book, so why would you need a booklet? Only has the names of the tracks and who wrote them. And I'd like to know where a bit of story behind the demos, a bit of story behind the new versions, a story about the new mixes, who mixed it, who played drums, who played bass in Fastway, who other musicians were involved, especially on the solo stuff, especially on the kind of CD1, the early years, the Curtis Knight stuff. There's, I've seen this before in other sets where you don't get all the full listing of the musicians and the engineers and everything. Fans want that. And for that price point, I felt like it's an oversight. Yes, you could go drilling through the autobiography to find out who played on these things. And some of you will say, well, I know that. But I think it's a little bit of an oversight for the price point. I'd expect that to be padded out with, what albums the tracks are from, where you could find them if you wanted to go more. Because anything like this is a listing of tracks has been compiled and pulled together. If you're really into this, you're probably going to want to go off and discover the other stuff as well. So that is the negative part, is that if I think about the CD set, let's call that £30 for that part, because a lot of the material has already been released before. Hardback book, let's give it, it's not a hardback book, but I'm just bigging it up. Let's call it 20, £50. Okay, there's a box here. Let's add another £5 on, 55. That's still £20 cheaper than it's currently pitched at. I just felt I had to say that, because looking at other things that I review and other things that are coming out, it has to be a balance. And this is Fast Eddie Clarke, a wonderful musician, Motorhead. All three members of the original band are no longer with us. And this book, with Mariko Fujiwara, his widow, the passion and the love she had for Eddie comes through in these pages. Chris Needs obviously also writes it. The photographs, as you saw, are beautiful. It's great paper stock. The story, and because obviously his widow is involved, Marika tells you the human story behind what Eddie was going through, especially in the later years. And I found that a really moving story about a guy that, we know all the, the Eddie Van Halens or the Eric Claptons. This is a kind of lesser known person. Yes, Motorhead are really well known, but take Lemmy out of that, and what we know about the other musicians shrinks dramatically if we go to Wikipedia. So the fact we have a 300-page book on Fast Eddie Clarke is fantastic. And all the tracks that have been picked are cherry picked. There's some stuff there that's newish, the demos and stuff. I mean, someone said to me, "Oh, the Muggers stuff, it's quite rough quality." I didn't think it was, actually. I thought all of the stuff was great. I mean, the Curtis Knight stuff shone a light on the fact that Fast Eddie Clarke was a good blues player. It's amazing that so many of the players from that decade of the 70s grew up with the blues and had that sense of feel in their guitar playing, and Fast Eddie had that. I mean, I remember this track isn't on there, I don't think, is it? No, Nightmare, B-side of No Class, and the guitar solo on that. I just thought that was amazing feel in the chaos of a punk metal explosion, really. But yeah, there's some of the tracks. Bomber's on there, Chase Better Than the Catch, the Hammer Overkill's got to be on there, hasn't it? But it's Fastway and Trick or Treat, one of my favourite rock tracks anyway, because of that film, Trick or Treat. I just love the phrasing, the lyrics. So I would have loved to have a bit more background on that. And the solo years, there's some wonderful stuff on that. So overall, I've got to say, I'm pleased this exists. I'm pleased that the powers that be thought, should we do a box set on Fast Eddie Clarke? Is it worth it? It is worth it. I just feel that the price point seems a bit high. But again, I'm only saying how I feel, because it could be that this is so limited that that's the price point it has to be, and maybe this will disappear. If you're a fan of Fast Eddie Clarke and Motorhead to that level, then you're just going to get this for this book, and you're just going to have it. It's a bit like any box set. There'll be some people who'll go, oh, that needs to be a lot cheaper than that. Well, someone else goes, I've already pre-ordered it. And if you're one of those people, then you're not going to be disappointed with the contents. Those of you who are hesitant, maybe hang on and see what happens. But you run the risk of it disappearing, obviously. But it did give me a really lovely overview of this guy's career. Outside of Motorhead will have that laser beam on Motorhead and a bit of Fastway. But to me, the solo stuff, and especially the early stuff with his playing more of a blues feel, was really, really enlightening. So that is Make My Day, the Fast Eddie Clarke story, 4 CDs, autobiography, all included in a box, out now on BMG Records. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your support. Keep buying the merch. Keep subscribing. Keep liking. Thank you for becoming patrons and YouTube members. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Take care, all of you, and I'll see you on my next video.